Hi friends, so today we are going to be talking about my September wrap-up, which includes things like books, anime, movies, and K-pop. I'll try to do one of these once a month, just to share what I've been enjoying for each month, and things like that. So first we're going to start off with books. As I'm filming this, it's September 21st, so the month isn't quite over, but I don't think I'll finish a book in the next 9 days. But to start off, the first book I read this month was A Magic Steeped in Poison, and this cover is just absolutely gorgeous. It's beautiful, one of my favorite covers. And so this book follows Ning. It takes place in China, or like ancient China, and her mom has just died from an accidental poisoning. And so her sister is also poisoned, but she hasn't died yet, so Ning has to go to the capital to try and win a rumored magic stone which can cure all illnesses. So once she goes, there's like court politics, there's bloody backstabbers, there's this handsome guy, there's the princess, so there's lots of court politics and everything going on. There's competition. It's very dramatic, very tense. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I've heard mixed reviews about it, but I thought it was great. I gave it 5 stars, easy 5 stars. It was probably, as of right now, it's the second best book I've read this year so far. It was just absolutely magical. I enjoyed every single second. I tried to think of something negative to say about it, because to give it like an honest review, and I could not think of a single thing that was wrong with it. Nothing at all. I mean, it's perfect. And so then the second book that I read this month, which I just finished, is The River We Remember by William Kent Kruger. This is a historical fiction. The other book was fantasy. I should have said that it's fantasy. This one is historical fiction, and so we follow police officer Brody Dern, and this takes place in small town Missouri. And so Brody Dern is the police officer of this small town. I think it says there's only like 4,000 people in this town, and so they're celebrating Memorial Day, and at this Memorial Day parade, he gets a call that there has been a body found in the river, and so the body turns out to be Jimmy Quinn. Jimmy is the richest man in town, who everyone hates. Everyone has a grudge against him. He's drunk all the time, he's temperamental, he doesn't treat his wife right, and so this is one of the reasons they speculate he might be dead. At first they're like, oh, it was an accident, he was drunk, but then more and more people start to say why they hated him, so then they begin to think that it was murder. So you follow Brody Dern throughout this novel, trying to figure out who killed this man. Brody didn't like Jimmy, all the officers didn't like him, and so then there's race issues with the Native Americans in town, with some of the Japanese people in town. So it really delves into, it takes place in like the 1950s, shortly after the Second World War. So it's talking about a lot of race issues, trauma, political drama. It was really good. I just finished it, so it's more fresh on my mind. But I think I'm going to end up giving it 4 stars. It was really good. The only thing is that there were so many characters to try and remember, because, you know, you're trying to get that small town drama, so he introduced a lot of characters. But overall, it was very good, very worth the read. This was my book of the month pick for September, and I think it was a very good choice, so 4 stars. And so then, in terms of reading, the last thing I've been reading is Jujutsu Kaisen. This is only volume 3. I'm still making my way through it. I picked this up because of another YouTuber who talks highly of it. I've never been a fan of like the big, you know, popular anime that goes through like every couple of years, and Jujutsu Kaisen is one of them. But so I decided to pick it up. because you know the anime just got a season 2, which is coming out every Friday. First 2 volumes I really liked, I was into it, and this one I'm just kind of struggling a little bit to get through it, just because there are a lot of characters and a lot of terminology that I'm kind of not registering with, but it's still good. I may stop reading and just choose to pick up the anime, because that might be simpler. But I mean, it is good. I definitely can understand why people like it, but definitely trying to see if it's for me or not, if I want to spend more money buying the novels. But so that's what I've been reading this month. In terms of other things, I did go and see a movie, which is very rare for me. I hate going to the movies, but Agatha Christie's new movie, A Haunting in Venice, came out, and I did want to see it because the other 2 movies by her are really good. And I have a cat, hang on. Okay, so I wanted to go see it, even if it is horror, which I'm not a horror person, but I wanted to see it. So I went last weekend and saw it. It was definitely shorter. It was like an hour 45. It was good. I think that it was a little bit confusing towards the end. Like the other 2, Death on the Nile and Murder on the Orient Express, had clearer plot lines, and I was able to understand things at the end of it and talk about them. But when it came to this one, at the end I was kind of like, so why did they commit this murder? Why did this happen? And it seemed like the ending was very rushed compared to the other ones. Definitely good. I wouldn't say it was necessarily horror. I would say it was definitely spooky. Like there were definitely jump scares, but I didn't leave the theater being scared or anything. So, but still, I think it was definitely worth seeing. And I'm curious to see what the next one they do for Agatha Christie will be, because I really like her book. So, and they always do a good job with her things. So, and then next so that was all movies, all books. So next with K-pop news, not much has been happening. As I'm filming this, 3 of the Stray Kids members got into a car accident, but they're fine. But that was just a little scary. But this month, and at the end of the week, actually, is it tomorrow? One day next week is Kepler's comeback, so I'm excited for that. The pictures look really great, so, and the instrumental that they released sounds really fun and catchy. But this month I've started to get into Enhypen, which I haven't listened to any of their music before this month, just because wasn't interested. Enhypen is a 7-member boy group, which is under Big Hit Entertainment, which is under like BTS and TXT, the same company. So 7 members. Have a couple of foreign members. And the reason I decided to get into them is because I finally listened to their latest song, Bite Me. 10 out of 10. One of the best songs I've heard this year. It might be in like my top 5 songs for the year. I mean, it is so catchy. The choreo, the beat, everything is perfection about that song. So I was like, oh, well, you know, I'll try and get into it. And so right now I'm watching their variety shows, their TV show on YouTube. So I'm slowly getting into them. It's taken me a bit, but that's it. Let's see, was there something else that I wanted to talk about? I don't think so. So that's it for September wrap-up. Later you're going to see me reorganizing my bookshelves. They need to be redone majorly, because I'm trying to make more space for books, because the more 5 stars you read and the more books you want to keep, you know, you gotta unhaul some. So that's what I'm going through, just watching shows, reading books. So I will see you the next time I have something to talk about. All right, thanks. Bye. So one thing that I need to do is reorganize my bookcases. I have 3. They work fine now, but it could function better. Like this one is mainly just, like the first 2 are books that I read as a kid that I really enjoyed that I'm not willing to part with, that I'm in the process of rereading, and then the bottom shelf is manga. So the only thing that's going to change on this shelf is the bottom one. The Attack on Titan I think will stay there, but the others I might want to move to across the room if there is space for them. And then we go over here. This bottom shelf is all classics, and so I want to move the classics from this bottom shelf to across the room to see if there's just more space, because this middle shelf is just books that I really like 5-star reads, so like all of my favorite books are on this second shelf. So the more 5 stars I read, the more room I need, so I want to transfer these classics to somewhere else. So then if we go over here, this is kind of like the work in progress. So we have my TBR on the first shelf. It will continue down to the second shelf, and then I went ahead and emptied out the bottom one. So I want to move the classics over to this bottom shelf and see if there's room for my manga, because I'm almost out of space for manga. And then I have more books from my TBR downstairs, so I may just run out of space. But and this also needs to be reorganized, because like I don't like having this little small albums out of order, and it's leaning, so I need to get something for that. So we're just going to reorganize and see how it looks in the end. Okay, so this is the classics shelf moved. So there's a little bit of space in the end, but not as much as I thought there would be for my manga. And so then these top 2 are my TBR. All my physical TBR, I definitely have like 25 more on a list, but these are all the ones that I own. And the reason that these 3 at the end are separated is because these are the ones I plan to read soon, like this fall, the next 2 months. So that's why they're separated. And so I have a little bit of space left. But until I make a little bit more room, like maybe finish these 3, I probably won't get any new books besides manga. I don't really count manga. But yeah, this is the shelf as it stands right now. So a little bit of room, and then I made some room on the other shelf, other bookcase. So I do have more room for some good books to stand. So we'll see.